Hey there, frag heads and fragrance lovers. Welcome back. It's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance Channel talking about some more beautiful fragrances. I hope that you're doing absolutely fantastic out there, staying safe and smelling beautiful. So let's jump into this house, a brand that you might not know about, the house of Arabian Oud. But don't be scared. This is not a oudy fragrance particularly. This is much more of a Western oud, a much more wearable oud and likable. This fragrance actually gets quite a bit of love and talk. You might have heard about it. This is Kalemat Sehr, Sehrt, I believe it is, or it's often called Kalemat Black. And I actually blind bought this fragrance, and it's a beauty. Let me tell you all about it. So let's, when we jump into this fragrance, do take into consider that you might have to blind buy this one. Again, I've talked to the brand, and they're actually going to hopefully get samples out through their website, but they don't really have samples or discovery sets available yet. But they are trying to get those out so they can get a little bit more awareness. I tried to tell them that they really need this, and I paid for this bottle too. So don't think, because I speak so highly about this fragrance, don't think that I got it for free. That's not how it works over here at the Centaur Fragrance Channel. So anyways, guys, this is a beautiful amber, vanilla, and modern oud fragrance. Again, the oud is not scary here, not terribly animalic. It just adds a sensuality, almost a leathery quality to the base of the fragrance. Mostly you get this amber and vanilla, which is a classic combination. The vanilla adding its sweetness and almost powderiness and some creaminess, and that amber adding that resinous quality and even more richness and warmth to the fragrance. So a very warm fragrance. There's perhaps some spices underneath hidden with this fragrance. They list violet also with this fragrance. There's a little bit of violet perhaps on the top, adding a little bit of balance. Adding a little bit of it's hard to describe, but if you're familiar with violet, sometimes you think of it as that petrol gasoline vibe that's so famous with like fragrances like Dior Fahrenheit. But the violet here doesn't really do that. It adds, you don't really get much of a top. There's a little bit of bergamot, kind of quickly goes away, but it is kind of bright in the beginning, just a little bit. But it doesn't smell citrusy. And then you get the violet, and it kind of gives you a good transition to these not darker, but heavier, sweeter notes, and really adds a nice transition, adds a little bit of body and dispersiveness, and I don't want to say powderiness, but violet can almost feel that way, especially with sweeter and richer notes. So fascinating fragrance, very well done. Again, it's called Kalemat Black. It's not exactly a dark fragrance, at least to my nose, but it is a fragrance that's a little bit on the heavier side. This is a gourmand fragrance. I think it would be categorized as that, even though it's not the most foodie fragrance. It doesn't smell like a particular food. And again, gourmand fragrances, they don't necessarily even have to be sweet. They just have to smell like something edible. But here it does lean on a little bit on that rich, sweet dessert kind of side of things. It's very likable. It's very unisex. Ladies can pull this one off. Perhaps for the ladies, it's a little bit. You'd have to be maybe perhaps a little bit confident. Not because not because of it's strong on the oud or anything. It's just that it has violet, and it's not as sweet or as playful as maybe as you might think. This is a seductive fragrance. And to me, that's how I see this fragrance. It's a seductive charmer of a fragrance, and it really works beautifully. It does a lot of magic behind the scenes with this, and you'd be surprised about how good this fragrance is. I do have some more thoughts, so please don't jump away. I got some big things to say at the end of the video, but let's jump into that performance. I think I've said enough about how good this fragrance is. Amber vanilla, a classic combination, always works. Truly a beautiful combination, and something that I always look forward to smelling and seeing what kind of twist a perfumer can do on amber and vanilla. Actually, I would like, even though a lot of people don't like are getting tired of the sweet fragrances and the gourmands, a lot of Western fragrances are becoming very, very sweet, especially in the designer game. Almost all the fragrances are becoming sweet because people, at least in the Western USA, love sweet fragrances. They really, really do. But I kind of would like to see more uses of amber and vanilla as a combination. You don't see it all the time, and it's just a complementary pair, just like lavender and cardamom. And some of these combinations are just truly timeless, classic combinations. So, anyways, with the longevity, this is certainly a 9-10 hour plus fragrance. You can get 10 hours out of this easy, depending on your skin chemistry. I could see some people getting more. It does last quite a long time, but it's not a projection beast. And I think some people almost act like this is a projection beast. It's not. To my skin, it's certainly a little bit above average on the projection, and it certainly does have very good sillage. but it's not a projection. It's not crazy on the projection, and that's not a bad thing. I actually like how this fragrance acts. Again, y'all know I kind of mentioned it here and there that I really like parfum concentrations, things that really last, things that have some density or some richness to them, and that have some sillage. So when you walk past somebody, when you're around somebody, they smell the fragrance when you speak and when you're around them, and they can really tell that you're the person smelling the fragrance, or you're the person who smells that good, instead of you filling up a room and somebody else getting the compliment, or people just being confused why there's why does this whole room smell like fragrance. Anyways, beautiful fragrance here, well done. And I like how the performance comes through with this fragrance. I think it's going to speak with you in a really charming way. So getting into that compliment factor, surprisingly, this fragrance does not get me as much compliments, and it's not because it's not a compliment getter. It's because this fragrance is a little bit more unusual. Again, this fragrance is not oudi, but it does have a little bit of Arabian flair. It does come from the house of Arabian Oud, after all. And for some people around here who have never smelled anything like this, they're not familiar very much with amber. And this, even though it's very wearable and very approachable for a Western nose and very likable, it's still something that, perhaps is a little bit confusing or even very seductive because it's so unique. So when I was around people, they were curious. Some of the people were really almost hypnotized by the fragrance, and some people were, kind of watching me, and they were kind of curious about what's going on. But so I didn't get a lot of people actually tell me with words that I smelled good, but I knew I smelled good, I knew I smelled great, and I know that people were paying attention, and they knew that there was something special about me, and so I was smelling really good. So this fragrance certainly will work. It'll work with date nights. It'll work when you're going out on the night on the town. It'll definitely have its own little unique charm about it. Now, if you live in the Middle East, if you are familiar with Arabian fragrances, this one might be a little bit safe. But again, to a Western nose, this is a really good, I think, honestly, entry-level fragrance into the niche world. This would be a great step into something a little bit more unique. Maybe you're ready for Mansaras. Maybe you've tried a few Mansaras, and maybe you've tried a few of the really popular niche fragrances. Maybe you're ready for something a little bit more interesting. This would be a really good step into it. And you don't want to go for the artistic or the strange or the unusual niche fragrances. This one here, Kalemat Black, is certainly a great fragrance for you if you want something sweet and wearable and date night appropriate, get you some really positive attention, great for the date nights, help you seal the deal, if you know what I mean. And this type of fragrance certainly is really good for that type of situations and, attitudes. So great fragrance, guys. It really is. And I can see why this one was hyped and liked so much. It deserves some really positive attention here in the fragrance community and the fragrance world in general. Getting into my final thoughts with the price, you can get this one. It's a 100 mil. It's a full-size bottle of 3.4 ounce, and it's about $140, $150 odd dollars. This one often is sold out or not available on the U.S. sellers, U.S. website for Arabian Oud. I don't know why that is. I think this is a very popular fragrance, and this seems to be the one everybody talks about. I think that Arabian Oud is certainly losing out on some of the sales that they could do. Again, I don't try to focus on business. This is, but I'm just telling you, that Arabian Oud really is losing out on a lot of sales because I think a lot of people are looking for it. The only reason I really blind bought this fragrance, even though I love it now and I'm grateful I did, is because there was their Black Friday sale, and it was like $60 off, and I had to pay about $20 shipping, which is a lot of money for shipping. But I ended up still saving about $40 odd dollars, and I was still happy with what I got. So I saved about $40, and it feels kind of nice to know that you got something shipped, specialty to you from across the ocean. That's a special feeling. But this fragrance is, again, I can't even find the listing half of the time, or it's just sold out on the U.S. website. And again, the UK website has a few bottles available, but who knows, they might be sold out. So maybe they didn't expect this fragrance to become so popular. Maybe they can't keep up with the production, at least right now. Maybe that's the case. I really don't know. But anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed my fragrance review today. Yes, it is raining and it is bright and sunny outside. There's some clouds moving by during this video if you're confused. But hope that you enjoyed this fragrance review today. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, and tell a friend. This fragrance is great. It's worth checking out. It's a great introduction to a very wearable, seductive, charming vanilla. You could wear it all the time and it would do you wonders. So I'll catch you, everybody. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time. Peace out and bye.